Hey guys, welcome in episode 110 of the OutSpoken SportsCast here with your hosts Brian and Craig. I am glad we're able to do these Tuesday episodes, Craig. I'm glad you're here on here to join me. Um, we're just gonna kind of fill in here what we've missed throughout the weekend from our Friday podcast. Hopefully, you guys went and took that out, and we got some different things happening here at the Outspoken Sports. Craig's gonna do a draft edition episode next Thursday. The draft comes on next Thursday night of the NFL. We're all looking forward to that. And Craig is, we both do the same job, but Craig's crazy where he'll stay up late and go off of no sleep into work. And I just don't do that. You're used to doing that now, though, right? I mean, oh, Craig, I cannot hear you. Can you hear me, Craig? I cannot hear you, Craig. Um, Try bouncing off and bouncing back on again, and we'll see if it works. But we're having some technical difficulties with with our volumes. Sometimes Craig can hear me, sometimes I can't hear him. So we'll get that adjusted here real quick. But we're gonna jump on and we're gonna do the things that have happened over the weekend here. Are you back, Craig? No, no, you are not back. Go ahead and close it all the way out and then jump back in. We're still working out the bugs here, I guess you could say. One getting Craig on the podcast, but it worked fine last week, so we'll get that figured out here. We got some different things we're going to talk about here, though. The Dwayne Haskins, um, the sound, oh, the sad news of Dwayne Haskins passing away over the weekend and what a debacle that was. We're going to talk about the NBA. There is Craig. Craig, I can hear you now, buddy. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yep, can
All
hear you.
right. All right. Well,
All
sorry
right.
about the technical difficulties there.
Yep, it's hit and miss, but we got it back and we're good to go now. So yeah, I've been a
All
little bit crazy. Some breaking news this
right.
weekend, and we can start with that.
Yeah, we'll start with the Dwayne Haskins. Sadly, passing away. I hate starting off any day or any podcast or any episode with sad news, but this is really the one that took over. Dwayne Haskins sadly passed away after being struck by, I believe, a dump truck while Haskins was trying to cross the highway. We have no details of really why he was on the highway. Maybe his car broke down. I have no idea, right? We probably will never know. But he sadly passes away. He was 24 years old. He was he was quarterback for the Steelers, backup quarterback for the Steelers there. But sadly, that's not what took over this weekend, right? It was Adam Schefter, horrible tweet. Adam Schefter's tweet, and I got it right here. It says Dwayne Haskins, a standout at Ohio State before struggling to catch on with Washington and Pittsburgh in the NFL, died this morning when he got hit by a car in South Florida. Per his agent, Cedric Saunders, Haskins would have turned 25 years old on May 3rd. Now, that Adam Schefter is getting killed for that, which he should. That is an insensitive tweet. He did this. I don't even know why do people miss on this, Craig? Why do people miss so badly on this? Why did he have to throw in the struggles? And you know, Dwayne Haskins was a husband and a friend and a teammate to these people, not just stats and numbers. And I think that's why people get so angry is that he tweets this and it sounds like he doesn't care about him as a human, just as a athlete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's simple. I believe these guys are so desensitized to the human world. It is simply that I want to be first. I want to be the one that gets it out. I want to be the one that gets all the credit for getting it out there, and everybody saw me do it first. And what he said, while completely insensitive and completely offline, I mean, he didn't say anything that was inaccurate. The guy did struggle. The guy did
Right.
have his difficulties. So he didn't really say anything that was inaccurate, but he said it at a really, really terrible time. And I just don't think he thought. I think he was desensitized to the whole thing. And as soon as he found out, he's like, here's a guy who struggled in the NFL and da 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 da. I mean, and he wrote up a synopsis on Haskins' career, which all in all was true, but the timing of it in what was going on. I mean, if Haskins just got hurt, or if it was something like he got arrested or something to that effect, well then nobody says anything. But
Right.
unfortunately, he passed away, and within minutes of finding out, here's Schefter that says, this, and people are killing him for it. And unfortunately, he's not even the worst
No.
So
what and
look
why?
at that. Gil Brandt's like, I got you, bro. Don't even worry about it. We'll take the
Gil Brandt. What? He's not even getting killed for this. How does he still have a job?
Everybody's focused on Schefter, and what he said was 100 times worse.
So Gil Brandt's not like 90 years old, shouldn't probably be on the radio anymore, and definitely shouldn't be on the radio after what he said. He did an interview after this happened, and he was on a I don't know what show he's on, but
Sirius XM, some serious interview.
And I'm not going to read the whole because it's a long one, but here are the main things that he said that is just horrific. All right, this is just terrible. He says, and I quote, "He was a guy that was living to be dead." That right off the bat's like, what are you? What?
Stop right there.
Yeah, that right there is enough, but it keeps going. Now,
hold on, let me double down.
Yes, it was always something with Haskins. Maybe if he stayed in school a year, he wouldn't do silly things like jogging on a highway. What? What in the world?
First of all, he wasn't out working out on the highway. He wasn't in joggers.
Is that some serious training they got going on there for the Steelers? Is dodging cars? Yeah. Like I don't
playing Frogger on the highway. I guess. Yeah. No, we're not doing that.
It didn't make any sense. And no. He's a guy that was living to be dead. What does he act like? He acts like he's out there skydiving every week, or bungee. I don't know. Yeah. I don't even know where to go with that.
Yeah, he just acted like Haskins was nothing but a troublemaker from the time he got in the NFL, and the only thing you ever really heard on Haskins was his work ethic. That's the only thing, the only complaint. His talent, his ability to throw the football, his ability to play in the NFL as an NFL quarterback. Nobody ever said anything about that. He just never got the opportunity because of his work ethic. Him and Ron Rivera didn't see eye to eye because Rivera told him he was the last one in the meeting and he was the first one to leave. He didn't want to put in any extra work. He didn't want to do any of that. And so that's why he didn't get the opportunities that his talent should have presented for him. I mean, here's a guy that was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be the savior of the Washington franchise.
Right. He's one of the best Ohio State quarterbacks.
He won the national championship, came in and saved the day when all those guys got injured and had the game of his life. That's how he went in. He probably should have stayed in school an extra year if he doesn't get that opportunity, but he struck while the iron was hot at 22 years old to try to get the money to help his family and support his family. And that's all he did. Like,
yeah, I have no clue the whole stay in school. You're going to strike. It's smart to strike when you got all the publicity.
That's right, because he could have gotten injured the next year. You never know what's going to happen to these kids. I mean, now they're sitting out bowl games just to make sure they don't get hurt to go into the NFL. I mean, so he didn't do that.
Right. Yeah.
It was just completely. And all the NFL players, all these guys are just focused on Schefter, I guess, because they know him and they work with him and they talk to him on a daily basis, whereas Gil Brandt is mainly in around the organization and kind of sticks to the Cowboys. He doesn't comment on the whole NFL. They just happened to blindside him with this question on this. It wasn't even supposed to be a topic on the show he was on, but it happened while they were doing a live interview, and so they asked him about it. And so, was he blindsided? Yeah, but man, you can't
What
say
a,
anything about that.
that was the worst take I've ever heard. Most controversial. I and 105.3 The Fan was talking about this today, and they were shocked that he still has a job. Like,
Yeah. Well, and both of them have walked it back, but both of them walked it back days later. I mean, not the second that it was out.
well, and that's the issue too with Adam Schefter is he waited till his podcast episode. It
Yeah.
wasn't like if he felt
Look,
so bad, he could have gone on ESPN the next day, later that same
that
day. Hey,
go on
I'm
Twitter, do a live video, post a video on Twitter.
right.
Backing down. He waited for till Monday or Tuesday. I mean, it just came out.
Now, do I think Adam Schefter should have lost his job? No, I wouldn't say that. Gil Brandt definitely. That's ridiculous what he said, and I don't even know. He sounds like he's making a lot of things up. He also mentioned that they invite because they do Gil Brandt's big on the draft. They do a draft show and they invited some players out. They invited Haskins there, but he declined their offer and decided to charge $50 a person at a bowl. I'm like, what does this have to do with Dwayne Haskins passing away this morning?
Well, I think that's what it was Brandt took offense to that. Basically, he felt Haskins blew him off and went and did his own thing, and so I think he took that personally, and so he kind of had a personal vendetta. And when this came out, he kind of told us what he really felt of him, and it was a real bad look and a real bad move on his part.
Definitely was. All right. Well, the other news the weekend was we finally finished the NBA games. We've got the play in, we got the playoffs set up. We're going to talk about that here a little bit, and we've also got some Lakers news, Luka scare, and all that good stuff. So right now, the playing games they start tonight. Craig,
I believe so. I believe
Pelicans,
Brooklyn
Spurs. Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
the Brooklyn night.
Okay. All right. And the
Now, Brooklyn in a playing game with all those guys they got, we'll never know, but that's where they're at.
yeah, the Nets. I mean, talk about disappointing season.
Yeah.
I think the biggest disappointment is obviously the Lakers. We'll get into them in a little bit, but the Nets have got to be right there. Right, they're probably the second. These two teams are projected to both meet in the championship with the talent they've got. The Nets obviously made a trade. They traded away hard, and that thing fell apart faster than.
Well, and then Kyrie can't play the home, or can only play the home games, can't play on the road or whatever because they don't want to pay the whatever the fine is or whatever it is for him because he's not vaccinated. So he can only play either the home or the road games. I think it's the road games. He can't play at home. So, is he going to play the playoffs? Isn't he? I don't know.
It's a question mark, and he's talented. Don't get me wrong, but he's a big headache everywhere he goes.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. So in the East, you have number 7 Nets versus the Cavaliers, and the Cavaliers surprised me this year. You expect them to be really, really bad, and the 8th seed's not great, but that's something for the Cleveland Cavaliers. After LeBron James leaves a team, he usually leaves them in ruins, and they've built up some talent there. So I see them beating the Nets? No, I don't, but they're there, number 8. You got number 9 Hawks versus number 10 Hornets. The Hawks fell off this year. They were better last season. We expected
Made it close to the finals.
Right. Yeah, we expected. I expected to see them, be more consistent this season, and they've kind of taken a plunder. So we'll see.
Yeah, Miami. Obviously, the definite shocker is the 1 seed. I mean, nobody saw that coming.
Yes, Miami, the number 1 seed. Look, they have a great head coach, Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah, and it just came out that Phoenix's head coach wins Coach of the Year again. Spoelstra doesn't even get looked at it.
Not a mention. I didn't know they came out with the winner of the head coach. Okay.
Just kind of saw it just a minute ago when I was looking right before we logged in.
Nice. And then let's see here. So that's the East playing games. Playing games for the West is the number 9 Pelicans and the number 10 Spurs. And you got this number 7 Timberwolves versus the number 8 Clippers. The Clippers could be a dangerous team. They get Kawhi Leonard back. He's been hurt all year long. They've had injuries that none of these teams to me are a real threat. Any of these 4 teams in the West to compete with the Suns and Memphis and the Warriors. Dallas, if Luka.
I think Brooklyn could go in and upset Miami just talent wise. If you go off talent, they could go in and be trouble for Miami. But
I don't think their team chemistry's there yet.
No, yeah, no. I mean, talent. Just if they go off talent.
Yeah.
If you go off best player on the floor, they will have the best player on the floor in Kevin Durant. They will.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll get a couple games that way just by having the best player on the floor.
I agree. I think the Heat will win. If they do play them, I think they will win that.
But I think Phoenix runs through any of the 4 teams that make it out of the West.
The Suns look really good, and they haven't stopped since last season. They made it all the way to the championship last year. I thought they were going to win. They went up 2 games to nothing, and then they kind of fell apart. And we could see a rematch. We could see the Suns versus the Bucks again this season. Milwaukee is number 3 seed in the East this season. Let's jump into the West though, real quick. So the Suns are number 1. They'll face the 8th seed. And then you have Memphis. Memphis number 2. That's a shocker.
100%.
I mean, they gained some ground last year with Ja Morant. He's been a beast this year, and this team is playing really well. I think that's probably the biggest shock in the NBA, in my opinion, is Memphis being at the number 2. Warriors number 3. That's probably the best.
Probably a close second.
Yes,
that is and everything like that. That's probably a very close second.
This will probably be the best first round matchup. The Warriors versus the Nuggets.
Yeah, I think Denver's got some injuries, and it just came across that Steph Curry is going to start practicing this week, so I expect him to probably play. So I think you give Golden State the edge.
Yes.
If I have to pick right now, that's going to be your West Finals. Is going to be Golden State and Phoenix. I think that's going to be a really good series.
Well, I feel bad. For the Nuggets, and I feel bad for Joker because he's got no help. All his guys are always hurt.
Jamal Murray's out, and they just announced that
Porter Jr.
the kid they got from Philadelphia, he's out, and so they don't have any. They basically have no guard. They're playing with backup guards.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
It's going to be a one-man show.
Yep.
I mean, he'll do his thing, but I mean, if you're Golden State, you're like, yeah, let him get his 40, and everybody else can't deal, and we're good.
Yeah, I think I don't know if the Nuggets win one game if the Warriors are healthy. It's gonna take.
Not if Curry plays and everybody plays. No, I mean maybe one.
Maybe one. We got the number 4 Mavs versus the Utah Jazz, number 5, and this one's a lot more interesting because the Luka injury. Oh man, what a horrible time to get injured, and he has a calf strain, and there's no timetable on the return. So
we know what that means.
They've kind of kept this hush, and it makes me go, that's probably not good news. If it was nothing, they probably throw it out there and say he's going to play. But Jason Kidd likes to play mind games. Jason Kidd could be doing this just to mess with the Utah Jazz head. Is he going to be out there? Is he not? We probably won't find out if he's playing in the game until Friday night.
Yeah. Since it's the first game on Saturday, I would think whenever the NBA makes him announce it, that's when he'll know.
Right.
He came out and said today that there's no timetable, but he's coming up with a game plan with Luka and without Luka. And basically, if he can lace his shoes up, he's going to play. But he also said, kind of tongue-in-cheek, that we're not going to risk long-term health of this. And if you ask Kevin Durant what you do with a calf injury and you try to play, he blew his Achilles out and missed the whole next season. So while the Mav fans are sitting here going, he's going to play, he's fine, Now, I don't think that's what you want, because if he misses all of next year with a blown Achilles, you're really going to feel bad.
Right.
So,
and with Luka, you're not winning the championship. Sorry, Dallas Maverick fans, you're not going to win the championship if Luka plays.
you might go past Denver. You're not beating Golden State. You're definitely not beating Phoenix.
Yeah, you're not going to the championship. But Jeff, the other host of the show, is a Mavericks fan. He'll be like, "Well, we weren't supposed to go in 2011." I'm like, "You can't use that every year. You can't use that every year." Okay.
Perfect storm. Everything lined up of the teams that you matched up really well against. You had a cakewalk to the finals. You know, you had teams that were getting older, and you just happened to hit a perfect storm. I don't see that happening this year. Is Luka going to carry you through a little bit? Yeah, he will. Yeah. Is it going to be another disappointment for Mavs fans and another season loss that if they get eliminated right away? It is. But if you remember when Dirk Nowitzki's career first started, last week of the season he injures his knee. They come to Don Nelson and they say, good news and bad news. Good news, he can play. He's not going to mess it up any more than he already is. Bad news is he's not going to be 100%. And Don Nelson said, not playing. I'm not going to risk a Hall of Fame career over one playoff series.
Right.
If Jason Kidd is smart, that's what he does with Luka, in my opinion. You set him down and you say, we'll see you next year. And Luka won't be happy, and it might get him fired. But if I'm Cuban and I'm Kidd, that's the decision. Because if, just like what you said, if you really look at it honestly, you're not going to the finals this year.
Right. You know, they've taken a step forward this year, the number 4 seed. That's progress. And yeah, and you want to see them. You want to see them as being a Mavericks, or as a Mavericks fan base, progress in the playoffs, go to the next round and stuff like that. It's not worth it. If he is not close to 100%, if there's a 5% that he could tear his Achilles, which they say when you tear your Achilles, it usually starts with a calf strain or something else before you just straight up tear your Achilles. We saw with Kevin Durant. You do not want to risk it, because if he tears his Achilles, he's missing all next season, and the Mavericks will may not even make the play-in game next season. So it's not worth it. It sucks. And the big questions were, why was he in the game the other night? Right. First of all, the technical foul gets called back. He's able to play. The suspension was lifted, which if the NBA just kept it, we're not having this conversation about it. And then he's playing the starters late into it was late in the third quarter, I believe, when that happened. Golden State was pulling away from, because if the Mavericks did win and Golden State lost, the Mavericks would have jumped up to the 3rd seed. But Golden State blew away the Pelicans, I believe it was. And I'm like, Jason Kidd said he had no clue of the score. They weren't looking at it, but the team, some team member, I forget his name, said we definitely knew the score. I don't know what's true or not, but how are you not looking at the score? Should he set him down earlier? Is he going to take some heat for that? A lot of people aren't really blaming him, I don't think. They did a poll in the DFW area, and a lot of people are saying it's just bad luck. But it is a questionable decision to have him out there that late when it's not going to benefit you at all. So I don't know. It's a little questionable from Jason Kidd. That's the first questionable thing that I've heard all season long from Jason Kidd as a head coach for the Dallas Mavericks. So it sucks for Dallas Maverick fans, but you're more than likely looking at a first-round exit. I got a buddy of mine. He can be a little bit of homer. Says they will beat Utah without Luka. I don't know how that's possible, but
I don't know who that is, but I would take that bet. And the thing on Kidd is, it's not like the MLB. We don't have the outfield scores. We don't have everything posted up there. He's not looking at the thing. They're not. San Antonio didn't have the Golden State game on above him. He couldn't see that they were running away with it. Now, should he have had somebody on the staff with a little earpiece in, listening to the Golden State game, telling him updates? Probably. But that's hindsight. Because if you set him down, and then come to find out after the game Golden State lost, all the Mav fans are going to burn down. They're going to be standing here with pitchforks and flames. We all know the DFW sports fans. They're they know best. They know everything. They're right. The coach is wrong, and it's every sport around here that's the case. And I understand that because they want the 3 seed, they want this, they want that. But it's not Kid. Kid was doing you play your guys. You play your guys, you play to win the game, and you had the decision was made before the game. I'm playing my starters. At that point in time, you play them. If you weren't going to play them, if you just said, you know what, I don't care about the 3 seed, I don't care about what the outcome of the Golden State game is, I'm sitting everybody. I'm playing the backups. We beat San Antonio, and great. We don't. That's probably the decision he should have gone with, just for the simple fact that this could happen. And a freak roll of an ankle. Luka's had ankle problems his whole career. Anything can happen where he steps on a foot and rolls an ankle, or somebody fouls him hard or whatever. San Antonio is a huge rivalry team. You don't think they wanted to, play a little bit harder, play a little bit. Plus, they had everything to play for to make sure they were in the play-in game. So I don't blame Kid. He made the decision. He went with it. Hindsight is always 2020, always.
Right, and you're right. It is a lose-lose situation. If he sat them and they didn't make it, they were like, oh, you could have got the 3rd seed, and
yeah, if he sits them and Golden State wins, bang, they're gonna fry them there. If he wins and Luka gets hurt, they're gonna fry. He was in a no-win situation.
Right. Jeff popped up and says, "What's up from work?" Hi, Jeff. That's the other host of the show, Jeffrey. He's at work right now, so glad you're tuning in there. Glad we were tuning in there from probably your lunch break. Patrick here. Patrick Tennyson says we are Debbie Downers. Now, Patrick, I don't call it being Debbie Downer. I call it being a realist.
Yeah.
And sorry, Mavs fans. That's just the way it is. And then my buddy Ryan keeps telling me, come on over to the Mavs. Come on over to the Mavs. Be a Mavs fan. Be a Mavs fan. And it's so hard to be a Lakers fan for me because I can't stand LeBron James. And I'm like, man, I so want to, but I'm not jumping on them. I'm not jumping in trains, man. I don't do that. That's not who I am. And also, yes, I saw your comment. Patrick also said, I wonder if the Lakers will make the playoffs. So, Patrick, you already know the answer. You're just being a troll right now. Lakers did not make the playoffs, as it's been a horrible season. The worst season in Laker history, in my opinion. And LeBron is out here lying. They asked him in an interview, and he said that the season wasn't a failure, which it completely is. He's trying to spin it that he didn't want Russell Westbrook, and a lot of crap. Says he has no control over the roster. That is not his decision. The new Hex coaches, and it's just total BS. We all know it is. But the Lakers finally make it official. They fire Vogel. I think I wasn't a big fan of Vogel, but I think he's basically the scapegoat here in the situation with the Lakers. And I honestly want to trade LeBron James. They're not going to do that though, because he's their best chance of winning. But no, the Lakers do lose. I tried to pull it up earlier. I couldn't find it. The head coaches that are, possible head coaches for the Los Angeles Lakers. Did you see that list?
Yeah, they want Nick Nurse. That's what they're saying. But if he leaves where he's at, he would be chastised for the rest of his life. He has a team that is on the upswing. They weren't even supposed to be a thing this year, and they're in the playoffs. And so, I would never leave where I'm at. He's got draft picks. He's got talent. He's got a roster. He's got everything he needs where he's at. Zero chance that he is the next head coach of the Lakers unless they just go, here's a blank check, write some numbers on it. And he goes, yeah, all right. And then they go, oh, and by the way, you can do whatever you want with the roster. You want to cut people, you want to trade people, you want to sign everybody, you want to bring your whole team from where you're at over. Like, they would have to make a really, really deal. As for that, everything else, you got some college coaches that are available. You got some guys, of course, that will get fired come the end of the season that could be available. I just don't know too many people that can work with LeBron James. And
exactly right.
That's going to be what you've got to deal with. You've got to deal with LeBron James. And Spoelstra couldn't do it. And Ty Lue couldn't do it. And Vogel couldn't do it. And it just, if he's not running the ship, he's not happy.
Right.
And he's not going to 100%. And he's not going to do what he needs to do. And plus, Father Time's undefeated. And it's coming. And I understand he wants to play with his son. And he's going to try to hang out to find out where Bronny's drafted and go play there for a year or two. And right off of the sunset, because that's never been done before. But come on. There's nothing to here. You're not going to pass Jordan. That debate is over because of the season.
Now, he says that, or he says that he can still lead a team to a championship. I don't think so. Say it again. You cut out.
He's not going to admit that he can. He's not going to be like, no, I'm terrible. I said,
yeah.
Say that.
I've told Laker fans last season that our number one guy is not LeBron James. It's Anthony Davis. He's our number one guy.
Mr. Streetlow.
And he's Cottonelle soft, and he didn't play half the season, and you saw what we were. So Patrick asks, what are the chances of him, speaking of LeBron, and his son playing together in the near future? Now, I say it's pretty low. And look, I just looked it up. Bronny is his name, is eligible for the NBA draft in 2024. So that's not next year, but the year after. LeBron's already, 37, 38. He's going to be close to 40. I don't know who signs up for a 40-year-old LeBron James. Look, he can put up good numbers for you. He showed it this year. But that also comes with he wants control of the team. He wants to control this. He wants to control that. And
also, the team he's going to go to with Bronny, they're going to have a top 5 pick. He's going to go in the top 5. Well, you know what that means, right? That means that team's not very good right now. So if that team's not very good, what are you going to go? You're not LeBron James away from winning a title.
No.
So by adding LeBron James and his son, they probably don't even make the playoffs. So yeah, you can play with him if you're willing to not make the playoffs and just play with your son.
And I think that's what he would do. I mean, but they were talking about Cleveland, we'll go back to Cleveland. But first of all, Cleveland's got to draft him. Second of all, Cleveland said they don't want him. Why would they want him back?
That bridge was lit on fire with kerosene when he left.
Yes. But it's like, why would they want him back? They're in the playoffs this year.
You're going to go backwards. Are you going to take a 2-year backwards deal? No, I'm not.
And they would have to get rid of a lot of their young talent to sign up Russell Westbrook and any other horrible player that LeBron wants to sign. I'm not sure it happens. I think it's just a dream, but I think he'll hold on for that long. Will he still be as great? Probably not, in my opinion. But where will he be? I mean, I think he's got 2 more years left on the LA contract.
Yeah.
So I would like to trade him now.
He did that on purpose. It lines up with he becomes a free agent as Bronny becomes into the NBA. It all lines up. That's why they signed the contract the way they did. That's why they did it. But I think it's too many stars have to align. All
right. Well, the Eastern Conference or the Eastern conference. Yeah, that right. Playoffs. You got the Heat number 1, Boston number 2, which Boston's a team that no one's really talking about. They usually have a good season, but every time they get to the playoffs, they just don't win. They don't get to the championship. I don't know what it is about them, but they haven't won in a really long time. Um, you got the Bucks at number 3 versus the Bulls at number 6. That would be a good matchup. I think Bucks do win it in 6 probably. The Bulls are very talented though. They got a talented roster. And then you got number 4 Philly versus the number 5 Raptors with head coach Nick Nurse. I don't know why he would leave there. Philly, I think Philly probably wins that one, but Harden and Embiid hasn't been that great. I think they're still working out some kinks in there, but
don't know if they had enough time to get used to one
Yeah.
another and make a huge run. That's where the question mark is was that roster put together in time to make a run?
Yeah. If you had to guess on the championship matchup for the NBA, what would your teams be?
Again, I believe Phoenix and Golden State. I think if Golden State is healthy, I think they can win the West. If Steph Curry is really Steph Curry and everything lines up, I believe Golden State wins the West. They were leading for most of the year. They lost the 1 seed when Steph and Clay got hurt, and I believe they can win the West. I believe they just kind of mailed it in and said, we'll take the best seed we can get, but we're going to get everybody healthy. And I think that was the right choice. And I think that's what happens. Phoenix gives them a run for their money. And I think that series goes 6 or 7. In the East, you can't look away from the Bucks. I understand that Philadelphia has a roster. They built it. I don't think they mold well together. I think maybe next year for Philadelphia is their year to be better. Are the Heat for real? I don't know. They made the finals in the pandemic. Does that really count because we were in the bubble? Then they went away. They had a real bad season last year, and now they're back. And Spoelstra is got them rolling. I still best player on the floor is the Freak, and the roster that Milwaukee has, I believe it's Milwaukee and Golden State.
I like that too. I got the Bucks in the East, like I said. Like you said, you got to give it to Giannis. The team they put around him is pretty good as well. They brought the same team back last season or from last year. The Heat, they have talent. They're very well coached. Can Butler get them there again? I'm not sure. I got Boston. No, sorry, I got the Bucks versus. I want to say Phoenix. I want to say a rematch from last year, but Golden State is, if healthy, probably the best team in the West. I don't think Memphis is a series contender yet. They're a little too young.
Too young. I think they're a year or two away. I think they'll be around for a while, but I think they're too young.
Yes. What I liked about Phoenix last year, and I told my buddy that watching the team play, especially when they beat the Lakers and going forward, they played the best team basketball I saw. They were all on the same same mindset. The coach had them playing really well. They should have won the championship last season. I'm gonna go a rematch last season. I'm gonna go Suns versus Bucks, and it's hard to it's hard. I think it's Golden State versus Phoenix to get to the championship, and I think the Suns win in 7 probably. I could see either one winning though. That's a tough one. We're headed to some good basketball play in the playoffs. Where the Memphis, I would love to see Memphis and John Moran. I think he's explosive and a great player. I'm not really sure who else they have around him, but obviously they're playing really well. I wish Joker had some help. I think the Nuggets can be deadly. Utah are they're the team they could be the 1 seed. They were the 1 seed last year, and I don't trust them. They're not going to win in the playoffs. This is who they are. But are you there, Craig?
Yeah, the Luka
Okay,
injury is, I think puts them out in the first round, so they're out. Yeah, I mean, I think there's 4 or 5 teams total in the whole thing that can win it all, and I think we just named them. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. All right. Well, I think that covers it, Craig. I was looking for some more information. How are your Giants doing so far?
took a hard one last night again against the Padres, so they're 2-2. Uh, and but I mean, long time ago, the pitching looks great. They're kind of plugging and playing with the lineup. They called up their rookie phenom left fielder Elio Ramos, and he goes 2 for 3 and gets his first couple big league hits. And so we'll see if he's here to stay. See if they make a roster move. Right now, they had to just put somebody on bereavement, so they got 7 days to kind of play with it. But when Brebbia comes back, I don't know if they leave Ramos up or if this is just a test. Um, but I think he's the new coming. Um, Pitching looks phenomenal. I mean, they're losing all these games 2-1, 3-2. Everybody, I mean, Rondon had 12 strikeouts in 5 innings. Webb went 5 innings, let up no runs. Wood let up 1 run. The starters look fine. The bullpen blew a save on opening day, but they've come back okay. Um, I mean, if you judge after the first week, the Dodgers are 1-3. So I mean, the sky would be falling in LA but we're not. We're 4 games in.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about today. The Rangers is the first home opening game they haven't sold out since 1996, and everyone's going,
Yeah,
"Oh, it's not that big of a deal, guys. What do we expect? What do we expect? You don't spend any money on your roster for years. This team was unwatchable last season. Unwatchable. All right. What do you expect? So they lose last night, extra innings. We lose because our bullpen's horrible. We lose extra innings of a horrible call on a slide interference at second base. Cost us the game in the 10th inning. But
at least
these,
a shot. I mean, wow.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I understand the rule, but that was
soft.
nowhere in the rule. He didn't go left of the base. He didn't go right of the base. He didn't stick his hands up. He didn't interfere in any way. That guy was behind the bag. He goes over top of the bag. He didn't deviate from the path at all. He followed the guideline in every aspect of it. I was blown away. And
Yeah.
I mean, MLB could come out now and go, "Yeah, we got it wrong," but that doesn't help. Now, the umpiring in the opening week of the season has been atrocious. We've got
Atrocious.
guys that are getting called up on strikes that are 3 foot outside the zone,
Yes.
guys that are walking on a strike right down the middle. Um, the Mets, they've got 2 guys in the opening series that get drilled in the ear hole. Lindor and the first baseman, Pete
Yeah.
Alonso, gets both of them get drilled in the head with 95-mile-an-hour fastballs. They could have lost 2 of their all-stars in the first week of the season because, of course, it's the Nationals. Oh, this new ball is slick. Come on, we're not
Yeah.
troll and throwing seeds at people's ears.
There's
They've
been
got to
some
protect. They got to start doing something. I mean, you can't headhunt.
there's been some fireworks as far as teams is fighting already, and I understand it for the Mets, and glad those guys are okay. You never want to see that, man. That's dangerous stuff. Yeah, the Rangers bullpen's garbage, but these 3 games,
It's an understatement.
this last 2 series have been or Toronto and the one game in Colorado have already been better, more entertaining than all last season. So
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I don't know what else we're complaining about. We have no expectations. If you're Rangers fans with expectations, you're foolish, and you should just
You're a
end
year
it
behind.
all right now. Yeah, we're probably 2 or 3 years away from contending. 2 years,
With the
give or take.
expanded playoffs, maybe a year, but definitely,
Yeah.
you know.
We are headed after a 6 or 7 year rebuild. We're headed in the right direction finally. But well, that's going to be it for this episode. Me and Craig will be on Tuesdays. Me and Jeff will be on Friday. We'll maybe have Craig there on Friday as well. But feel free to come listen to us on our podcast anywhere you can find a podcast and anywhere you can stream as well. We are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch right now as we speak. So if you want to look at our beautiful faces, feel free to do that. If not, come fill us in your ear holes at the podcast pages. Jeff says the Rangers are cursed always. They're not cursed. They're just I don't even want to talk about it. That's just too long of a conversation to get into. We're not the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
No, off. I think I lost the audio again.
It's all right. We'll figure it out. We'll get Craig a mic and hopefully figure out the cutoff. The first intro to this episode is gonna sound like crap. But Patrick wants to throw some curse words out here at us for the Cowboy comment. Anyways, yes, we'll be doing more shows. I'm excited to have my buddy Ryan Sims on the show. He does everything drafts, prospects. He follows all that stuff. So Monday, me and him will have we'll have a show on Monday, and going over the top 50 prospects in the draft. We probably won't have a show that Tuesday, Craig, but Craig will be doing a live episode on draft night. Probably the first round, you said. I don't know how many draft picks you want to stay up for. I'll be in bed. But so listen for that. Craig will be on here live, his first live show by himself. So that'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting. But feel free to listen to that as well. We'll promote that on here as well, and then me and Jeff will probably be on hopefully the Friday after the draft and talk about the draft itself and anything else. But feel free, guys. I appreciate you guys commenting. Thank you, Patrick and Jeff, for commenting on this episode, and feel free to share us when you're done. All right, Craig. Well, I will see you tomorrow at work, bright and early. Bright and early, unfortunately. All right, Craig. Brother. Take care.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. God bless, guys. Take care.